Hi, how are you? This is my outfit of the day before we get started. Love Coach Ursula here. Just a black sweater and a skirt. It's like a brownish skirt. So I know you're gonna ask before I get started. Now today, I wasn't gonna make this video, but you all keep sending me emails, so I feel like I have to be your love coach today. I mean, the things we do for the people who watch our channel, right? Um, 4 months ago, I left you in a I'm gonna get a divorce out of nowhere. And people who have been following me here for 7 years were like, what? But one thing I want you to remember is we're all human and we're all going through different things behind closed doors. So when you hear someone announce that they're getting a divorce or they have whatever it is, a big life, ta-da, you should never, ever, ever, ever be surprised, because as long as we're here and as long as we're growing and as long as we're evolving, there will be change. Some people change and grow together. Some people stay stuck and the other person moves on and so forth. So because all of you keep sending me emails on, please Ursula, explain now what? How is your life? And I had every intention to do cooking videos and stuff here, but my life has changed so much that I hardly ever cook anymore because I have no rules and I just kind of do whatever I feel like doing and I'm on my own. So let's recap. And I want to preface by saying that in order for me to tell my truth, that it does no good to throw anybody under the bus, as I call it. So I will be telling you my story in my experience and not anyone else's. So that one day, if my adult children watch this, and they want some clarity on why mom just up and freaked out and left, that they will see that there was some preparation in this. And people don't just go crazy, or most people, they don't just go crazy overnight and say, oh my God, I need to just freak out and leave. No, it's a progression. And this is sometimes a hard reality when you're going through changes in your life. So long story short, I'm going to try to make this as short as possible because it is YouTube, however, and I don't get my videos monetized. And for those of you who say, I don't care about you anymore because all you care about is Patreon, it's like, yeah, I do, or I wouldn't even be making this video, because this video, every time I get on YouTube, it's free to you and I don't get paid. So I must care about you. So stop that shenanigans nonsense. So, okay, I was married 25 years. I met my husband at a bar. My friend talked me into going out. I didn't want to go out. I was walking on the green belt with my sister. I was getting in shape. I was tired. I was in the bathtub. She said, come out. She took me to a rock and roll bar. I didn't like rock and roll bars. I didn't like the long-haired guys and the tattoos and the drug addicts, as I thought were there. But there was this one particular man that stood out from the rest, and he was wearing all white, and he was standing up next to the pole by the dance floor, and he looked like a GQ model to me. I was 24 years old. He was 28 years old, and I thought he was everything. And so my friend and I sat down. There was a seat right at the dance floor, and we sat down, and before I knew it, this prime suspect specimen, this gorgeous GQ model that I had my eyes on, came over, and it happened that he knew my friend Cindy, and he liked my friend Cindy. And I just want to tell you this story because I want you to listen to the red flags in this story so that maybe you can pick up on some things that maybe, ladies, that you're ignoring. Because if you pick up on these red flags, then you'll cause yourself less hurt and pain and just know when to walk away. So he was into my friend Cindy. My Cindy was going through a relationship with a bad boy. She only liked bad boys, and she was fighting, and she didn't care about him at all. And so I was kind of number two. I was the one that kind of pushed myself on him, and I gave him my phone number. And so remember, if you're not the chosen one from the beginning, if you're like number two, like, oh, okay, then maybe there's a problem. And then we met, we were spending every day together, and we knew each other. He wanted to move in. I lived on my own. I said, no, I've been down that track before. I've lived with boyfriends. It never works out. I don't want to do that. I had it in my head that that I was over the hill. I wanted to get married and have babies because that's what I thought you were supposed to do. And back then, people got married younger, and everybody was already having kids, and I was the old one. And so basically, he asked me to marry him so we could move in. We planned the wedding in 3 months. We got married. We didn't know each other. We didn't know. I came from alcoholic parents. I didn't know that he loved to drink like he did. There were signs, and there were things that happened during that I should have paid attention to, and I should have closed the door, but I didn't. I didn't listen to my voice that was inside, that all the warning signs were there. And if you have a issue that has happened to you, and it's like a really big deal breaker, like alcoholism is to me, you need to listen to that, because if you don't, I didn't have healthy boundaries. My parents were alcoholics, and I was never allowed to voice my opinion, so therefore I didn't know I could, which comes with age and experience and everything. I just went with it and married him anyway. We were going to wait 2 years to have a kid. I had a kid a month after I got pregnant, a month after. So long story short, we had boom, 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 3 kids later. He was in construction. We, moved into a rental. So many things happened in this progression of the marriage, warning signs, like warning, 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 warning. He was into his own things, going to the bars and doing what construction people do. I tried to get into the church to raise my kids in the church, and then I started going on to this Christian path. Like, if I get my kids into church, maybe that'll save everything, which that brought us further and further apart. First 5 years were hell. You're supposed to bring 2 people together and say, okay, now you don't know each other, but get along and make this happen. I chose to be a stay-at-home mom because we had 3 kids and I couldn't afford daycare. I cleaned houses here and there. But then it got to the point we had to move for a job. So we moved, and then my sister had moved back to this area, and we had just finally got reconnected, and then we had to uproot and leave and go to this other place 4 hours away, and our relationship got strained. And you need family. You need other people besides your spouse. And all we had was each other. So we were just trying to we both came from dysfunctional families, trying to hold each other together, trying to raise these kids and do the best we could. I was the nurturer. I stayed home. I made sure everybody was okay. I made sure everybody was safe. And he was just out there working. We came home. I treated him like a king. I spoiled him way too much. And even his mother told me, you're creating a monster by doing everything for him. And when you're young and in love, you think that's a good marriage. And I wanted to do, when he wanted sex, I wanted to have sex. And when he wanted this, I wanted to get this. And I just wanted to do everything I could to be a good wife. And so so I could keep the family together. And so I did that. And I just was like, whatever, Well, I got in my 40s, and then, like, I'm speeding it way up because I don't want it to be too long. I got in my 40s, and I started becoming a Beachbody coach because I was fat. I was at home. I was raising kids. I was eating the leftovers. I was not happy. I was just going through the motions. But a part of me always knew that there was something more, and that I wasn't fulfilled mentally. I'm a very intellectual person, and I like to have my mind stimulated. So I like to learn, I like to grow, I like to learn about development and goals, and I'm creative, and so I needed a creative outlet. So I joined Beachbody Coach. She in turn told me to start making YouTube videos, which in turn is why I started doing this channel. And I started reaching out and putting videos out here and doing workouts. And I thought that I was gonna get women to watch me, and I thought I was gonna help other housewives. Well, in turn, the only people that really watch me are men. So you can't ever know how your life is going to go. You just kind of put yourself out there, and you kind of put things out there, and then um, it is what it is. So anyway, I started doing videos, and then I developed a lump on my left side, and I found out I had breast cancer in my 40s. I think I was 42. My life did a complete topsy-turvy of what I expected and what I thought was going to happen. I ended up getting it early. I got it cut out. So many of you said, well, one of your boobs is bigger than the other. Well, yeah, I had breast cancer, but I'm alive, so who cares, right? So I went through 30 treatments of radiation. I continued to work out every single day, take my Shakeology, and then go to my radiation appointments at 1 o'clock, and drove myself and took my naps in the afternoon, because I don't know if anybody knows about radiation. It makes you exhausted, just exhausted. I went from taking my kids and doing my kids, they were teenagers at that time, doing everything for them, to having to say, no, I can't drive you. No, I can't take your friends. No, I can't do this. I have to pace myself. I had to have an energy drink to even walk through the store. We learned to just go to movies and do things that were less activity. So anyway, that happened, and then I had to rebuild. I didn't think I was ever going to be sexy again. I didn't think I was ever going to be attractive again. If any of you have been through like some major surgery or cancer or anything, and something's like misformed or misdeveloped, or you just, part of you is just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be sexy. So I had to relearn how to be sexy again. And part of that growth was, I had a pool in my backyard. So from the outside, it looked like I had everything. I had a supportive husband. I had a pool. I had a house. I had kids that loved me. I had this, I had that. But there was always something missing within myself, that I felt like I was not completely compatible with my husband. And it wasn't his fault. It was something within myself. I just always felt like we were at different vibrations. He didn't ever believe in energy work or energy, and we are all energy. So there was always something I felt when he would get home, and I didn't have anything to, it's me. I would feel like I could be on the top of the cloud all day long, and then when he would walk through the door, there would just be this energy that just negative, 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 negative. Not to mention the fact that I grew up with alcoholics, and our weekends consisted of him drinking all weekend. And that was something that he chose to do, and it was never ever going to change. And you have to know that when you're in a relationship, you can never change the other person. They have to want to change. So no matter what I would say about what would bother me, nothing would ever be done, because that's who he was, and that's what he wanted to do. And it's his life, inevitably. So you have to know, ladies, that if something is bothering you, and men, and nothing will ever change, then you have to create your own perfect life, however that looks. You have to dig inside, and you have to realize that you're enough, and do some work on yourself, and realize that you have all the answers inside. You just have to find a way to get them out. Meditate, have some alone time, and figure out now what. So after I had the breast cancer, I started, forcing myself to do workouts again in my bikini, and I started posting a few on YouTube, and then everybody seemed to like them, and then they wanted more, and then YouTube made all those rules that you can't show skin. Oh my gosh, cleavage is terrible, and that you can't be advertiser friendly, as they call it. So, and they'd have to put an 18 plus on it. And so I felt like I should do fashion shows. So I started doing fashion shows. I would go to Ross Dress for Less and I would buy the cheapest stuff I could find. And I would just model, pretend I was a model by the pool. And my family thought I was crazy. They were like, why are you doing that? But it was just something that made me happy. I needed something besides just my family to make myself happy. Does that make sense? I needed purpose. I needed stimulation. I needed creativity. I needed the things and thoughts that were going on in my mind. If you're a creative person, you're going to understand this, because you can't surpass, you can't, what is the word? You can't suppress your creativity. It's just there. I'm the type of person, I lay down and I think thoughts and I think ideas. And even though your partner doesn't, they should never ever stop your growth or your development or make fun of you for doing the things that you feel strongly. I wasn't hurting anybody. I was simply just creating this fun life for myself. And, you know, it's called fake it till you make it. And so I would just, and then my dream would be like, I can't wait till somebody wants to send me some clothes. And I can't wait till I'm a fashion model. And I can't wait till blah, blah, blah. And it would just make me happy. It just was something that put a smile on my face. And then many of you, I don't know if you remember, I probably took all those videos down. I had left my husband at a certain point because I just had had enough. And I went to my oldest son and I had no money. This is deep. I'm telling you, deep. I had no money. And I said to my son, I got to get out of here. I got to go. I got to leave. I got to go. So I left my husband. We got an apartment. My son helped me. And I remember that feeling of not having any money. How sad is that? YouTube wasn't paying me. I wasn't getting paid for what I did, all my chores. Even though I was a robot, I did the cooking, the cleaning, the house cleaning, the yard work. I always felt like the more I did, the more I would be validated, but it was never so. It's just the more you do, the more you're unappreciated and the more they expect you to do. And so it's part of the opposite, which I didn't know and I do know now. Anyway, left him 6 months. He begged me every day to come back. I came back. We tried to work it out again because, you know, you want to save your marriage. I had 2 teenagers at home still. I had to come back and mend the relationship with them. I wanted to get them into driving school. I got them in driving school. I got a job as a bus driver. I worked for 2 years paying for all the debt and everything that got behind when I left, and saving money and getting my kids into driving school. And he bought them a car, and we just felt like it was important to buy them their first car. And I tried everything to work through it. And then one day I told him, I said, everybody from YouTube is wanting me to move over and do those bikini workout videos over on Patreon, because that's where everybody started going, you know, that crash on YouTube when everybody was not getting paid anymore. All of a sudden people were getting all their videos demonetized for cussing or for showing too much skin or not being appropriate, advertiser friendly. You know, things change, and it's just a good lesson not to have your eggs in all in one basket, because you never know what the future holds. Like if you lose a job or whatever, you've got to have some savings, you've got to have a backup, you've got to have something. There are crises that come up that you've got to be prepared for. And that's what it taught me, was to, so I came back and I told my husband, I said, I want to start this video, this subscription site. You know, everybody's asking me to do these bikini workout videos that I used to do. And to me, my body is just, I was having to fight back, you know, trying to feel sexy again in my 40s after having breast cancer. And for me, it was like, really? People really want to see this? And so I said, I kept on dreaming about it. And I thought, gosh, this is so crazy. What is my life? You know, I'm going to be doing bikini workouts. What? And people are going to pay me for this? And I told him that I was going to do it. And I said, I cannot do it unless I tell you, because the videos, once I post videos, they're going to be out there. People are going to find me. They're going to be out there. And he reluctantly said, okay, whatever, you're going to do what you're going to do anyway. And he never thought it would be successful. And neither did I. I mean, I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know. But I wanted to make money so that I was never in that situation again of depending. And ladies and men, I hear so many stories of people saying that they have to stay with their spouse because they can't afford to live on their own. They are the only breadwinner. They need money, blah, blah, blah. You should never, ever stay with somebody because you need money. Ever, ever, ever. So, my advice to you, and if you get nothing else, is make your own money and find a way to be secure by yourself and not to have all your eggs in one basket. And then if you do stay together, it should be because you complement each other, not because you have to stay together for financial reasons. So the videos became successful. I lived and learned. I put them on PayPal. I used to sell them individually. He would watch them and he'd be like, why do a stupid secretary video, acting like, people have different fantasies and things that they like. And it doesn't always have to involve sexual or sex or, sometimes people are stimulated in different ways. And if you are a very creative individual and an intellectual person, sometimes it doesn't take sexual acts to turn you on. Sometimes it's like the act of um, seeing a secretary or working out with a beach ball or doing something. Like for me, it was like, this is something normal 40-year-olds don't do. And so it was this kind of like this taboo of like, ooh, people our age that have children don't do this. And that's kind of how it started out. And then obviously I'm still doing it. It progressed quite well, which I'm very fortunate. So if you have an idea that sounds dumb or stupid or weird, go ahead and try it, because you never know. Sometimes it's the dumbest ideas that are the greatest, funnest, greatest, money makers. So go for it. So long story short, I turned 50 and I still wasn't happy. The kids were gone and I started dreading. He had Thursday night home and then he had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday home. For me, I can only say for me, I started dreading weekends. I was like, ugh, all we're going to do is watch TV and drink and have sex. And I got just so tired of that lifestyle. I was so burnout and so like, ugh, is this all my life is ever going to be? Is watch TV that I don't like. I'm not a TV person per se. And watch somebody I love, I feel, drink themselves to death and have sex, which I'm not feeling anymore with this person because I'm not in love anymore. I didn't feel in love anymore. And so I turned 50 and I started having hot flashes, as you know, of those videos I had. And I started getting really angry at him. Everything he did just bugged me. I hated it. I didn't want to have sex anymore with him. I didn't want to look at him. I didn't want to hear him. I didn't want to watch him drink. I just didn't want to spend time with him. I didn't want to travel with him. And I thought, what is my life? Do I want to end up like so many people in unhappy marriages end up? You go in the basement, and that's how I visualized ourselves. Okay, you live in the basement and I'll live upstairs. And I thought, no, there is so much more for me to do, that if I sacrifice myself, I'm losing myself. First of all, I'm overeating, I'm gaining weight. I don't feel good about myself anymore. I don't feel confident. I don't feel happy. I feel like I fake it when my kids are around. I feel depressed. I feel ugh, like the only thing that makes me happy is doing my videos. And all the things that you guys said to me and all the things you've said to me, I never believed, because I never believed I was pretty. I never believed that I was lovable. I never believed that just all the things you say. I was like reading the comments going, what? Still to this day, because I just never had great self-esteem. I never, I mean, I remember my son said to me, my oldest son, I want to get this part in there and then let's close it up. He said to me, I told him I wasn't happy, and I talked with him, and I went to the colonics first of all. And when I went to the colonics for my menopause, I thought I went there for menopause and then I'll get to my son. I went there because I was having hot flashes, and I met with an intuitive lady. And I didn't tell her anything about my life other than I was laying on a biomat. That's why I love my biomat. Research that. It's for energy healing, and it's just wonderful. And you lay there and you listen to just calming music. And then this intuitive lady came in on day 2, and she said to me, "What are you here for?" And she just started touching me and just like massaging my arms and stuff, and just kind of getting in tune with my spirit and, you know, my energy. And I told her I'm here for menopause. And then she knew my story. She knew my husband, and she told me some things which I don't choose to say about him. Some things were just so real and so raw. And I knew on day 2 that I wasn't there for menopause. I was there because I wasn't happy in my marriage. So I dropped my ring in my purse, and needless to say, I've never looked back. I went home and I told my husband that I wanted a divorce. He was confused, of course, because he's like, "What did they do, brainwash you?" But I had been preparing for this. I had savings. I had things in order just in case. And it was just my way of just been like, you know what? I deserve to be happy. So I called my oldest son first of all and told him, and he came over. And he said, "Mom, I've told you years ago that if you're not happy, you don't have to stay here. You did a good job raising us. You're free now. You can fly. You don't have to marry. If you're not wanting everything that is in that marriage title, if you don't want to have sex anymore, if you don't want to be controlled anymore, if you don't want to do things that you don't want to do anymore, if you want to be free, you have that right to get a divorce. You don't have to stay with somebody just because you have a piece of paper and just because you signed that paperwork. You have the right to live your life exactly how you want it." And so now, long story short, again, I'm here 4 months later saying I have my good days and my bad days, but I did it. I'm stronger than I knew I was. I moved 4 hours away from him just so that we could have this healing time. I signed a year lease. I'm officially divorced. We just finalized the divorce on the 5th of September, and I've never felt better. I started working out 5 days a week. Many of you have seen a little difference in me. Thank you. I did that because I needed that outlet. I needed those endorphins. I needed to start feeling good about myself again. I needed to feel good in my own skin. I needed to get healthy. I needed to get this belly fat that was toxic off of me. And I started, I don't cook anymore. I started getting those healthy TV dinners and just start putting them in the microwave, you know, portions control sizes. And I realized I don't need all that food. I don't need a big dinner plate anymore. I don't need to hide in my food anymore. I only eat when I'm hungry. I don't always have to have meat. I primarily stick to a vegetarian lifestyle by choice because I feel better when I'm not eating a lot of meat. And I am learning and growing and listening to a lot of law of attraction, a lot of coaching on YouTube, a lot of healing, a lot of therapy, a lot of I am enough type of stuff on YouTube. And I know that probably surprises some of you because of what I do and because of what you do. If you do show your skin, you still are a person and have a mind, and you deserve to nourish yourself and love yourself, and it all starts with you and it all ends with you. And so if I never find my soul mate, I found myself. And I think that that's the biggest thing that I can tell you is when you find yourself, that's enough. So I love you. Thanks for watching and have a beautiful day. I hope that this helped somebody out there with your decision. I know there's a lot of crises going on right now. I get emails all the time. It's like breaks my heart. But just know you're stronger than you know. You are enough. And one day at a time. And you'll get through whatever it is you're facing. So I love you. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Push that bell button if you haven't pushed that bell button. Leave a comment down below if this helped you, if it gave you clarity. And I promise you they're not going to all be this sappy and emotional. I just wanted this final closure of this. And then I'll get back to fun Ursula with sexy videos and fashion shows and all that jazz.